Welcome to another episode of My Best 11 podcast. Today we are joined by Kevin Gallen. Kevin spent, again, yes, we'll throw that in. I made the stuff up and the record button did not work. So I'd like to thank Kevin for being on here again. Now, this does not help Marv with guessing the players, primarily because Marv has got the memory of a goldfish, which is absolutely fine.
Andrew, that's what happens when you get into old age. Your memory goes.
Well, we were just having a discussion earlier. Those people who've only just jumped, those people we don't know, having a discussion before we started recording this. And there was actually a few suggestions from Marv being thrown around. And Kev wasn't very happy because he thought that Marv was throwing a few names around from the 50s and 60s. So
that's disrespectful to Phil Parkes and David Seaman, by the way. Come on.
Parkes. I mean, David Seaman's nearly, but Phil Parkes, he played for QPR in the 70s. I was born in the 70s.
I know. It was a little Tash. I remember watching him.
Those people who don't know about Kevin, Kevin's played for QPR, Huddersfield, Burnley, QPR again, and I know it's a club that's really close to his heart. MK Dons, Plymouth, spent a little bit of time at Luton when we're down in non-league, and then did a bit of a spread of different clubs around London to finish off his career, Barnet, Braintree, Leverstock, and Marv's own hometown, Aylesbury United. And Kevin Gallen is actually the 6th highest goal scorer ever for QPR. And obviously they're your local team as well, Kev. I wasn't aware of that. So you were born around Shepherd's Bush, Hammersmith area, is that right?
That's right. I was born in Hammersmith, but I lived in Acton, which was 10, 15 minutes away from the ground. I could see the floodlights when they were on from my bedroom window. So supported QPR. My dad's a season ticket holder, still is. When hopefully he's 84 now. Hopefully when the crowds are back up and running, he'll go back. But my dad, has been going, I say, late 60s. Dad's from Ireland, moved to Shepherd's Bush when he was younger, and went to the local team, which was QPR, where a lot of Irish people in those days sort of was more like Arsenal, Man United. I think Man United was the big draw because of George Best. And I'm pleased to say my dad wasn't like glory hunter like the rest of them. He went to little old QPR down the road from where he lived, and he's been going ever since. And then when me and my two brothers were up and ready, old enough to go, we used to tag along with him, and I've been going down there ever since. I think my first game would have probably been 1978, 79. So while I wasn't playing for QPR or for another team, I've been going down there all the time. So I bring my son now with me. He loves it, so it's a bit of a family thing. So yeah, big QPR supporters all for my life and for the rest of my life.
Excellent. So we're here to talk about your best 11 players you've ever set foot on the pitch with. Now, formation-wise, are we sticking to 4-4-2?
Do you know what? I think I am. I'm gonna go back to basics, old school 4-4-2. It sort of, I'd say, suits the players I've got. But it really is maybe a sort of a 4-4-1-1, but it's a 4-4-2. Sometimes you have your main number 9, and you always used to join in the old days, Marv, didn't you? You always have to sort of a joiner in, come and receive the ball, and a number 10 who'd sort of drop into midfield and try and get the ball on the half term and stuff like that. So I'm sort of going for a 4-4-2, but it's a 4-1-1 as well. 4-5-1 when we ain't got the ball. 4-4-2, no, 4-2-4 when we've got the ball. Does that make sense?
It does, Kev. It does.
Perfect. So where did you prefer to play? Do you prefer to play in a 1 on yourself, on your own up there? Or do you always prefer to play with another man up there, or when you were playing?
No, I think playing up front on your own is a tough job, because you end up doing a lot of the sort of hard donkey work, where link-up play, battling with the 2 centre-halves.
Back to goal a lot of the time.
Back to goal, setting people up. And then you've got to get back in the box as well and try and score goals. It's a hard task. it's a little bit easier now the way football's played, where sort of when I was playing, and Marv would say the ball, it was a little bit more direct. The ball would come up a little bit earlier, a little bit longer. You'd have to battle these big centre halves, 6'2", 6'3", some really aggressive, some not so. But I'm 5'11", wasn't brilliant in the air, but I could get hold of it. If it was under my underhead height, into my chest and around my body, I was good. I could get hold of it. But yeah, 4-4-2 I preferred. I think my best season would have been one of my earliest seasons in 1994-95 when I partnered Les Ferdinand up front, where Les was superb in the air and he'd go for the headers and I'd sort of get the ball to feet and link up the play and then try and get in the box. So 4-4-2 for me, it was a little bit easier.
Lovely.
Goalkeeper then. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Goalkeeper, yes. So like we've said before, I've done this a week ago, but I've actually changed my mind a couple now. I've changed 2 or 3 players. So if you can remember last week's, but this is yeah, go on then. Goalkeeper. What you're going to ask me?
Club. Yeah.
Right now, I have to explain. I'm picking 10 players out of the 11, all QPR players. And player I couldn't leave out who I played with for England under 18s and under 21s. So that's a little clue where we get further down the line. And I couldn't keep him out of it because I'm not going to pick myself. So that's just a little clue. But goalkeeper, majority of the players are all played for QPR. And this goalkeeper was, I'll give you a clue, he was foreign.
Do you class Tony Roberts as foreign?
Yeah, you got to class Welsh people as foreign, and yeah. No. I'm talking well, do you know, I would class Tony Roberts as foreign the way he acts. Now this is on the mainland continent, European.
Oh,
Czech. Czech.
Yeah, he's Czech.
Oh, Marv. I thought you had an idea then.
I mean, it's not the one I'm thinking though, is it? Because that was last.
Yeah, he's different from the one last week, so still as well.
It's not Ludo.
No. Now you're saying Ludo McCloskey. It's not him, and he was a great choice. He was a choice that I was very close to considering, and Tony Roberts. But Ludo sort of came to QPR at the end of his career, so I didn't really get to see the best of him. He was probably at his best at West Ham, but Ludo, very strong man. Very.
I heard he was built like a mobile brick wall, wasn't he?
Who?
Ludo, apparently he was built like a brick wall, wasn't he? He was solid.
I mean, he was solid, strong. I remember a time I used to take the mick out of his accent like pretty much every day for 2 years. A bit silly of me because I got my comeuppance when we did a bit of shooting practice, a shot. He's parried it. I've gone in to get the rebound. I've tried to dink it over and he's come out and smothered it and smothered me and literally held me down for like 2 minutes saying, "You don't take the piss out of me anymore."
What was it?
He was from Russia.
He went on to become governor of the USA and Terminator.
Right, and Arnie. And because I used to say to him every time he used to come for catch a ball, and he'd say, "Keeper's ball." And then, as he said it, and he'd come and collect it, and I would say to all the lads, "Keeper's ball," and he'd start laughing. You know, just silliness, taking the mick. Well, he pinned me down, and I couldn't get up. And I went, "Come on, Ludo, let me up now, mate. Seriously." And he just held me down like that. And I went, "Oh, all right, Ludo, I'm sorry." Get me up. He's a good guy. It's not Ludo, by the way.
I'm not going to get it then. Andrew?
Nah, no idea. My depth of QPR goalkeepers in the 90s is low.
Okay, so this he played in the 1990 World Cup for Czech Republic, or it was Czechoslovakia at the time. Jan Stejskal.
Jan Steichkow.
6'4", blonde, massive. And little quick stories. When I was 14, 15, coming into training with QPR, you know, when you're week off, I was lucky enough to sort of the reserve manager was sort of like under 15, 16 manager as well. They used to come and say, "Come, Kevin, come and join in with a shooting practice." So I was like 15, joining in with the pros, and Jan would be in goal. And I was just remember doing my best shots. Like I'm thinking, this is against a 15-year-old keeper. These are going in. He's just doing this. Like, and my confidence is just going like this. I couldn't score. I wasn't even making him dive. He was just doing that, right? And it sort of gave me a little bit of a wake-up call when you're younger. I've got to, when you're with the big boys now, you know what I mean? I've got to step up to the plate because I can't even get him to dive against my shots. That's how good he is. So so that was a big bit of calling card for me. I need to start improving and I need to start working harder with my shooting. And Jan Steichkow, he played for QPR for 1990 to 1994. Very good, very calm. Wasn't great with his feet, I'd say. He would have struggled now with a back pass rule, which I think a lot of keepers in those days would have done as well. But he was a solid performer for QPR, and it was great to play with him.
Good English. Did he have Kev?
No. Love the cigarette. Yeah.
Cigarette and red wine?
Nah, just cigarette. He's probably on the vodka, knowing that lot over there.
Fabulous.
Pints of it.
Fabulous. So let's move on to right back or left back, either one.
I'll go right back. We're going to go from right to left. Yeah, right to left. Is that right? Yeah, right to left. Ex-QPR, 1990s. Played for England once or twice while he was with QPR. Really good player. Fast. Great athlete, up and down the pitch. Great right foot. Could ping a ball. Whip a ball in. Proper. Good service into the front man. Drop it on. You know what I mean? If you're running over the top, he could ping it over the defender's head. And he also
played for the yellow team, didn't he?
He played for your enemies, Marv.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. He played right wing for them. He was very good going forward.
He was a very good.
Probably right wing back really would be perfect for him now.
Marv,
great.
His strengths were not actual defending. Going forward, excellent.
Marvin?
David Bardsley.
Correct, Marv. It's the first one of the series you got right, I've heard. Well done, mate.
Tick.
I remembered him.
He's got it written down.
No, I didn't. I haven't written down. Obviously, my memory's back. My memory's pretty good, actually. Once you started talking about it, it came back to me.
Yeah, so David Bardsley, really good player, good lad, funny, very good. Like we used to do with Jerry Francis on our Tuesday. He used to call it Terror Tuesday. So we come in on a Tuesday, especially like no midweek game, and Ray Wilkins was the captain. No, he wasn't the captain, but Ray Wilkins was there, and he used to come out early and play, do a circle for about an hour, and then Jerry would come, and the balls would go in there, and we literally just run. Honestly, it was only for that 20-25 minutes, but that 20-25 minutes was the hardest 25 minutes of the week. We was people getting sick, and David Bardsley was like, he had the cigar out. Some lads could get the cigars out, and the others were like absolutely struggling. You know, you must have remembered, Mark, some lads can just run.
Yeah.
Maybe you were like that. Were you like that?
No. I mean, the bleep test, I think I said it before, the bleep test, I remember, God bless him, Ray Hartford got us to do it, and I think the referees qualification was 11, and I got 9.
9?
Yes, 9.
I've got 12 year 13-year-olds at school I teach to get about 10 or 11.
Yeah, but Marv,
it's too boring. It's too boring. It'll go just back and forth, back and forth. I can't do that. If they took us like where was it called? Pope's Meadow, People's Park, took us up in a minibus and dropped us off there and said, look, you're starting off here. You got to meet us back round the other side, which is like maybe 3.5 miles. That's totally different. I've got a start place and an end place, but that back and forth just does my head in. I can't be doing running back and forth. It just gets boring.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because I'm thinking to myself, Marv, why are you so poor at that? But then you're not. It's basically you ain't got the patience, and some people like that.
But the strange thing is, I said to Ray, I said, the funny thing is, in the 80th minute, like in a game, right, when we're talking about fitness now, how is it that I'm running back from a corner, right, to defend, because they're a counter-attacking against us, right, past people who've done 16 or 17 on the bleep test. I've done 9.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Desire. That's all it is, desire.
Yeah, desire, but you obviously weren't a good trainer, Marv.
I wasn't one of those what do you call it? Those little mouses in the wheel just going around and that doesn't.
A little hamstering thing. Yeah.
Hamster, yeah. I don't like that. You need to put me in a maze. Put me in a maze to get me out of it or whatever. That's different.
Kev, you haven't mentioned how well you did on it.
Yeah.
On those Killer Tuesday things.
Yeah, no, I got to at the start. It was just a massive step up, because we used to do it with the youth team, but the pace wasn't obviously as hard as now. I'm running against David Barsley, like Les Ferdinand and Danny Mannix. These geezers could run, and Trevor Sinclair, Ian Holloway. Ian Holloway's probably the best. He was the best long distance runner at the club. Unbelievable. Really? We used to do like Jerry would pre-season. You'd know what was coming. You turn up on a Monday, you'd run in, and the first Saturday of pre-season, we'd go to Richmond Park and do a 7-mile run or 8-mile run or whatever around Richmond Park. You know what it was, the heat. Every time we went there, they turned the heat up for some reason. They knew we were coming. And I've never, the first time I ever done it, and this was the whole club, even the youth team. And my first time on 16, 1992. And Ian Holloway, literally, he says, go, Ian Holloway sprints. And I mean, I'm talking his start off is a sprint. And I'm thinking, he's taking a piss in. There's no way he can keep that going. He fucking did.
7 miles.
He sprinted the first mile. And his philosophy, he told me afterwards, my philosophy is, I'm sprinting until I break everyone. And once I've broken them, then I'll do like, it's still going fast, then I'll stop sprinting and I'll go to like 70%, 80% like fast jog. And he pissed it every year. And
he always won it. No one ever beat him then.
I don't think anyone ever beat him. Someone might have been close, a young lad, and he was devastated. I think he was on the verge of retirement. He couldn't handle it. But yeah, no, that was tough. And those guys. So Jerry's running would be, he'd do like, he'll say box to box back, next 2 groups, next group, box to box back. Then he'll say halfway line, box to box. And this is not like a jog, this is a sprint. There's like, right? Then he'll say double box to box. And then like sprinting box to box back. Then he'll say double box to box, halfway line. And you're like, and then he'll throw the killer of all in. Double box to box, double halfway line. 1 run. That is just like, and you do about 15 runs. And he said he knew what he was doing. I'm sure he just used to make it off the top of his head. Lads would be getting sick on the floor. No, you owe me 1 more. You owe me 1 more. Getting sick. No. Dragging them, 1 more. Everyone else has done it. You've got to do it. Tuesdays was an absolute nightmare. The older pros used to come in, like Ray Wilkins, absolutely gutted. Ray Wilkins like played for AC Milan and all that. On a Tuesday, he's not even seeing the ball. He's just running his ball off.
Love it.
Yeah.
Left back.
Oh, left back. Oh, yeah. Another classy performer. Unbelievable. Was a midfielder. Played for Man City. and Chelsea. Then come to QPR as a sort of a left-sided midfielder or a centre midfielder on the left. Unbelievable on the ball, smooth, athletic, and great at penalties. I don't think I ever see him miss a penalty. Great bloke, good laugh. Yeah, he's really good. Should have played for England, maybe. Very unlucky not to get a cap. Really, really good football player. Like a modern day fullback.
I know it's not him. This one I'm going to say to you now, but I think you probably did play with him because no disrespect to him, he wasn't comfortable. Well, he's all right on the ball. He's smooth and that. Rufus Brevitt. Do you play Rufus?
Rufus, but he's very close. Rufus was more solid.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
He would rattle you. Like the ball would go past Rufus, and he'd wait for you to touch it and then smash you and the ball instead of just taking the ball. So yeah, this other player sort of kept Rufus out a little bit. If Rufus was a little bit unlucky at QPR at this time because Clive was just playing so well and it was hard to dislodge him.
Clive Wilson. Clive Wilson.
There you go.
Got it.
To help you didn't have a clue, lads.
No. We were just letting you talk.
Yeah.
Part of our podcast is we let the guests talk.
Yeah. Clive gave it
Until
away.
they slip up.
I'd be no good if in the police station if I robbed a bank.
Just let you keep talking.
Yeah. But you're right, Kev. He used to play midfield, didn't he? Did he not used to play midfield a lot? Midfielder.
Started off really was a midfielder at Man City and Chelsea, and it was Jerry sort of played him. I think there was an injury, no one played in pre-season, and he just said, "Will you play left back in pre-season?" and played excellent and played him from there.
So Clive Wilson at left back. Centre backs. Let's keep going.
We've got a right side centre back. Really good man-to-man marker. Quick, got a good leap. 6 foot, not powerful, but good leap. A rash would be a rash on you. Great man-to-man marker. Great man-to-man marker. Great lad. Really good guy in the dressing room. Just played a lot of games.
Athlete as well, isn't he? He's an athlete as well, isn't he?
Fast, like really fast. Great, like on a Tuesday box to box, he would be at the front, no problem. Good lad.
Andrew?
Tottenham let him go actually when he was a kid, and he come to QPR.
Yeah, Danny Maddox.
That's right, Andrew.
Yes.
How did you get that? How did you guess that, mate?
He's got that list there written down, hasn't he? He's got that list.
Hold on a minute, right? In all seriousness, when we did actually do this properly, I got this one right because I'm going back in all these QPR things. I'm imagining my sticker album when I was a kid.
Mark,
You know those Premier League sticker albums. I'm imagining that.
I know exactly the one you're on about, but my memory's not that bad. I remember, shame you didn't record it though, Andrew, that I got this one right. I got this.
Can I just say something, Mark?
Go on.
He's like Lance Armstrong, the biggest cheat ever.
No, Andrew's not like that. He's not gonna. I trust. He wouldn't look at the list. He wouldn't do that.
Just watch his
look at the list.
No, but like you're right. Going back to Danny Maddox, he was literally like a rash, wasn't he? I mean, would you probably say? I mean, for you in training, was he probably the worst one you probably want to come up against?
Yes,
I mean, you don't want
because he was quick, just sharp, and just rash, and he wasn't a fouler or anything, but he was just
always there.
What I used to hate centre halves doing when I played is when the ball used to come up to me and I try and get in front and nick it. I used to hate that.
I used to try doing that all the time. That's why.
Is that why 4P don't like you? You've probably done that to him in training or something.
I used to try it again, but to be fair, funny you should say that. I literally did try and do that all the time because I know literally if I could nick in front, I'd always be thinking, well, I don't know. I think I did say it a couple of times to a couple of players. And I used to try and start an attack. I used to come back and say, aren't you meant to be the forward? And I'm the defender. Yeah, of course so. I knew it would wind people up. It would wind them up.
No, it would wind me up because if you just for one split second, the ball's coming up to you and you like sort of switch off for not even a millisecond, and the centre half nicks it, you're absolutely booing, and now you're running after him, chasing him back, giving it scrapping. Andy Maddox was great at that, and I didn't get to play with him. He left before I sort of joined QPR, but Paul Parker as well was great at doing that.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Just before we move on, so let's just touch on your start at QPR. I mean, was there any other clubs, or was it a case of that, you know, you was there as a kid? I know the Gallens were a Big Brother industry and stuff, so maybe it was a case where what Big Brother does, I'm going to do the same thing. What's the story behind the QPR?
Well, yeah, so my two brothers are both involved in football. You've probably met them both, Mark, but Joe's the manager at Portsmouth at the moment, and Steve is director of football at Charlton, which is quite not strange, but they're both in the same league. They're both like literally in the playoff positions. So come the end of the season, it wouldn't surprise me that they'll get each other, you know, in the playoffs. Then it's a big decision who you're going to support. I'll get on with it, lads. But you know what I mean, with your parents and stuff, it would be like if they got into it'd be some strange thing if Charlton against Portsmouth in the playoff final. It'd be some game. I'll probably stay at home and watch it, not get involved. But yeah, so those two. So yeah, my brother Joe was at Watford as a kid. I was at Watford from the age of about 11 to 14. I used to play right back for Watford as it goes.
Right back?
I was a right back. Just on the pitch, Mark. You get all the time in the world on the ball. You get so much options. It's passing back to the keeper.
It's true.
You're right back. Roll it to the right centre half. Right, you've got how many options at right back? Roll it back to the keeper. Right side centre half. Right midfielder. Centre midfielder. Or you can it a massive diagonal to the left winger, or bang one over the top to the striker. How can you be rubbish at right back? It's so easy.
So why did they get rid of you at right back then?
I think I should have still played there. I'll be still playing if I played there.
Why did you stop playing at right back then?
No, because I used to play right back for Watford just because I was sort of playing a couple of years younger, and they just I used to turn up, and my dad said, "Look, he's football mental. We just let him train." So I was training with the under. I was probably 11, but I was training with the under 13s, and they, to be fair, they were brilliant. A bloke called Dennis Gibb, Nigel Gibbs' dad. You know Nigel Gibbs?
Oh yeah.
His dad just said, "Yeah, bring Kevin along and let him train." And I used to just train, and then I started playing for my district, West London Sunday team, and I would be playing everywhere. Then I ended up in my school Sunday team playing at centre forward, and I just started doing really well there. And
who made the transition, Kev? Who moved you to a centre forward? Who did that?
When I was younger, I would play anywhere. So I would play right back for Watford. I play anywhere for the school, like centre mid striker. Then I played for the district team, and I'd play centre back, sometimes midfield. So it was just a case of, look, I could play, and I thought it was quite good because you get a good rounded indication of the whole picture. And then it got to 13, 14, really when I was 13, turning schoolboy, QPR said, "Look, no, you're playing centre forward. We want you as a centre forward." So I was 14. I went to QPR. I've gone, like I said, I'm a massive QPR supporter. I'm 15 minutes away. On the way home from school, I used to come home from school, go to the club before training, do my homework, have my kit with me, and then go and train. And it was just, I was a QPR fan. It was a no-brainer.
Right.
I had offers to go. I remember Chelsea ringing me up. At that sort of stage, I was getting sort of a little bit of a good reputation around sort of the area, West London and stuff. And our Sunday team was playing, you know, in the old, I don't know if they do it now, but the old days, your Sunday team would go, we would play QPR. And that's how I sort of got signed for QPR. But we'd play Arsenal. Arsenal wanted me to sign. We'd play all like because our Sunday team was like pretty good. We get invited to play all the clubs. And so we played QPR, and we were a Sunday team, and we sort of played nearly the year above them, and we beat them like 5-2, because that's how good our
How many
team.
you get? How many do you score?
Probably about 8. No. I can't remember, but I got 2 or 3. But what I'm saying is, we've gone to QPR, battered them, and so the geezers give it this one. We've got to get some of these players in here. And
Right.
about 5 of us joined QPR after literally a month after that.
My Sunday League team was exactly the same. We played Luton, and I came across with another lad, but unlike you, I mean, I think I got a 4-week trial and not a 4-year pro deal on a 6-month apprenticeship, as you call it. What you got some ridiculous deal, didn't you? I know you did. Look at him smiling. I know you. Look at him. He's got some. You can't even hide it. Some ridiculous deal.
Well, that's true, because when I was 15, I started playing for England schoolboys, and where we played Holland, Germany twice, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Switzerland maybe. And I think in about 8 games I scored 9 goals, something like that. And it was the record at the time. And the record, I equalled the record, and it was Nick Barmby about 2 years before me. He had the record and I equalled it. And then it's been broken now by Michael Owen. And yeah, so like I'm saying, so now I've got a bigger reputation, and now every club is thinking, hold on, well, he's not a bad player. So I think QPR was not that I was going to leave QPR.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But they came up and said, look, we're going to give you a 4-year contract.
It was a 4-year contract. I was only joking.
4 years.
I was like 15, 16. I left school in 1992 in June after my GCSEs, and in September I turned 17 and I signed a 4-year contract.
What were you? You must have been sacking off everything, all the schoolwork. You must have just gone, do you know what? I've got a professional contract. Stuff you.
School went out the window. My mum wasn't too happy with that. School went out the window. I just sort of lost a bit of desire there. You lose motivation for school. I weren't great. All I wanted to do was play football anyway. So I lost a lot of motivation. Not that I wasn't naughty. I wasn't doing anything bad. I just wasn't putting my 100. I wasn't putting 100% into it, because I knew that after my GCSEs in May, in June, end of June, we're starting pre-season training. And I just remember, I'm just like, can't wait. I'm now going to play and train with my heroes, because I was a QPR fan. So I'm going to train with Alan McDonald, Ray Wilkins, players like that. And I'm like buzzing just to be in the same building as them.
But you know what? Fair play to you, Kev, because obviously you fulfilled the potential, which obviously they gave you the contract, because sometimes, as you well know, that's like, well, I've got 4 years. I mean, I'm just going to go in now to the building, and literally someone who probably, like, similar to myself, I was called in late as an apprentice for Luton, and so maybe I was more hungrier than some of the ones who had already been there as a schoolboy and come through the ranks. But fair play to you. You didn't go in there and rest on your laurels and like, oh, I'm an England schoolboy. I don't need to do anything. You obviously did really well and carried on all the way up.
Yeah, because my determination was my thinking was, I'd been playing in the youth team as a schoolboy, so under 16, I'm playing in the under 18s of South East counties, and I'd done well that year. We had a good team. My brother was captain. I was playing with my Steve. He was a captain. I had Danny Dicho. Remember Danny Dicho?
Yeah, I think so. Danny Dicho. Yeah,
He's a year older than me. Dougie Freeman was centre forward there as well. So he went on, had a really good career with Palace. He's Wolves, Nottingham Forest. Yeah. So we had a good youth team. And I remember, so I'm like thinking, right, I've done well. I think I scored over 20 goals that season as a schoolboy, which I'm playing against. They're training every day. I'm going to school. So I always thought to myself, right, I'm getting in that building in July pre-season. And once I remember someone saying to someone, once I get fit, you're going to see how good I'm going to be. Because I was only playing at that level, 50, 60% fit, because you're not training every day.
Yeah, of course.
I needed to train every day to maintain fitness. Yeah. And I remember thinking, right, once I get in that building and I get fit, I'm going to score loads of goals. And that first season, I scored about 60. And then the following season, I scored 70. And I broke Jimmy Grooves' South East Counties record, which still stands to this day because there's no more South East Counties.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, and my focus was, right, I'm in the youth team. And all I was thinking was getting into the first team. All I thought about, I needed to get in that first team and play. So it was like the stepping stones was youth team, get in the reserves, first team. And then getting the first team. The hard thing is to stay in it. That's when it gets hard. The staying in is the hard bit.
Especially as you say, if you've got a couple of guns above you in the age groups above with Dougie Freeman and Danny Dichio as well.
Yeah, they were good players. And but then above me was, you had Les Ferdinand, Gary Penrice, Bradley Allen, Devon White. Who else? So Jerry always played a big man with a small man, always. So my competition really was Gary Penrice and Bradley Allen and Dougie.
Yep.
Oh, and yeah, Bradley Allen. I forgot about Brad. He was a good little player, the Allen. Yeah, Bradley Allen.
Good, great finisher, technically great finisher. And then the big guys was Les Ferdinand, Devon White, Danny Dichio. So you had 6 centre forwards for 2 positions.
Wow. A plethora. So, sorry, getting back to centre-backs. Your last centre-back next to Danny, Maddox.
Oh, well, this guy is QPR legend. I think you mentioned I'm highest goal scorer. I'm the 9th highest appearance maker at QPR. I think this bloke, he's ahead of me. I think he may be 5th or 6th. Legend, played for QPR.
Irish international.
Yeah, Northern Irish international. Big man. Great laugh. Used to just absolutely rip the mick out of everyone every single day of the week, every minute of the day. A legend. He's not with us anymore, unfortunately, but absolute legend.
I can't remember his first name. I know his second name's McDonald. What's his first name again?
Ronald.
Alan. Is it Alan, isn't it? Alan.
I said Ronald. Ronald.
Alan McDonald.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say he was ribbing people, did he get the level right? Because we've spoken to quite a few people about a line. And especially because I assume was he captain there or was Ray Wilkins captain?
No, he was captain.
So did he get that line right? And alongside that, was he great for the youth team players or was he hard on the youth team players? And then we've spoken to people who talk about Fozzie was really, really hardcore on the pitch, but then off the pitch, he was straight down the line as well. What was he like?
Macca wasn't like horrible. It was just like persistent, just like taking the mick. Like funny, just like
character building. Was that what it was all about? Building your character.
There were times at the start I would be giving a fucking hate. I want to chin you, but then he wasn't picking. Everyone got it, and so it got to the stage where everyone would just be doing this every day, like laughing, just doing it. This kid just doesn't stop. He's unbelievable, and he was he hated Tuesday running. They used to call him. Do you remember that program, Rent a Ghost?
Yeah.
Do you remember Rent a Ghost?
I do vaguely remember Rent a Ghost.
And remember the horse in it? It's called Dobbin.
Is that what his name was? I remember the horse, but I don't remember its name. Was it what it's called? Dobbin.
Well, used to call Macca Dobbin because of the horse at a Rent a Ghost. When he was running, he was like a horse. He weren't the most athletic, but he had a good football brain, good feet. He used to smoke. Honestly, when I couldn't believe it. So when I first got in the first team, at half time, Jerry would come in and say something, or Ray Wilkins. And for the first 2-3 months, I didn't know. So half time, I used to go to the toilet, go for a wee, and I'd be thinking, someone's smoking in here. Who's smoking? I used to be thinking, it must be the steward while we're playing. He must be coming in and having a fag. No. And then I sussed it out. Alan McDonald, after Jerry spoke, used to have a fag at half time in the toilets.
Really?
Yeah. Unbelievable. I used to then clock him. He used to be holding it like that. He had the matches and a fag, and he'd hold it like that. And I went, he's Macca. and he used to have a fag at half time, and then and this is in the Premier League, and then go out and play and could be man of the match in the second half. Unbelievable.
So when did that stop being acceptable? Obviously around that, before then, by the way that you two are shocked.
Well, I'm shocked because I've never smoked, so it's not something.
No, I've never smoked, but I mean,
I know
I
some.
know. Yeah, I mean, some players, when I first started playing, got into the 13, I knew smoked socially, and which I'm sure Mac used to do as well, but not at half time. Well, not to my knowledge. None of the players who I knew back then who smoked socially smoked at half time.
I would say Mackle was on 40 a day.
Really?
Wow.
He'd wake up at night, and David Barsley used to say he'd see like it pitch black, and he'd just see a red dot, the lighter doing that. You know, the red dot of the ash, not the ash, of the light, like that. And he'd be like going mental in the morning. Open the window, and he'd be smoking out the window and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. It's incredible for a Premier League player.
Yeah. And a good one.
Anyway, what we'll do is we'll pause there, and then we'll hear a short break from our sponsors, and then when we get back, we hear from the other 6 players who Kevin Gallen's picked in his team.
Manscaped are the new sponsors of My Best 11 podcast. These guys are absolutely awesome. Pinged this across to myself and Marv not that long ago, and look at this package. The biggest thing in here, and the most important thing, is this. This razor is amazing. I mean, just look at it. The lawnmower. Trimming is perfect. Look at it. Look at the light. How awesome is that? So if you're struggling to see exactly where you're going, can't quite get exactly where you need to be, the light is perfect. So the Lawnmower 3.0 with your manual comes inside the box. The best bit, we've got some undies in here, boxers, briefs, jocks, depends on where you live in the world. That's what they're called there. We've also got across here, we've got a ball toner in a beautiful spray. They reckon use this once a week, maybe a little bit more recently. It's up to you. Absolutely brilliant in there. And then they have the ball deodorant. Can't quite get it out right now, but the ball deodorant in there. I didn't even know they made this stuff. This is absolutely incredible. And I think this is going to be a fantastic partnership that we have with these guys. And then underneath here, absolutely beautiful, beautiful bag to stick your stuff in and to take with you whenever you go away on holiday. Great toiletries bag in there. So that's the first look. Myself and Marv will have a proper look at all this over the coming weeks as we unpack all this. But we'd like to say thanks so much to the guys over at Manscaped. And Manscaped, I'm in Australia. Manscaped sent across to Marv, based in the US, but they are across the world now. And look out on our social media feed for some fantastic offers. And of course, if you want to get 20% off and free delivery, and you'll support the podcast, use the code MyBest11Pod inside there, inside the promo code, and you'll get 20% off whatever you want.
Great. So we're back for part 2 of Kevin Gallen's My Best 11. So we're going to start going across the midfield, wherever you would prefer to start, Kevin.
I'm going to go right again, right to left. Yeah, this lad changed from last week, so there's no cheating now, Andrew. So this lad, well, I mentioned it last week. I'm not going to say the name. He could play right back, right midfield, left midfield, centre midfield. Could even play, I'd say, in the number 10 position, just off the front. Excellent player, tenacity, great right foot, could ping a ball, could score a goal from distance. Played for the Republic of Ireland. Was captain of QPR when I left for a couple of seasons. Really good football player, really good bloke, good guy. Loved to crack, loved to drink with the lads. And he's 5'8" or 9", aggressive, but not like dirty, but aggressive with his tackling. Just a good all-round football player. And I've actually changed his position, Marv.
I know. I think he normally. I'm thinking, is he play centre midfield?
Yeah, he played centre midfield.
Mainly though.
Mainly, yeah. But he could play. I put him right midfield because I'm accommodating players. Really good football player. Don't look down, Andrew.
I know. I've got it. No, did he? No.
I had Nigel Worthington. Did Nigel Worthington play for QPR?
No.
I don't know why I thought Nigel Worthington. I just thought Northern Ireland. That's what always throws me. It's always one clue that just sticks in your head and it screws you up.
He's Republican.
I know this one played for Republic of Ireland, but he didn't. He would never play as a number 10. He would never play on the.
I'm telling you, he's a Republic of Ireland, but his namesake.
Yeah, but the one I'm thinking of, you probably didn't play with him because you're too young. I was going to say Gary Waddock.
No, but similar. I did play with Gary Waddock.
But he's a Republic as well, isn't he? He once played with Republic.
I played with Gary Waddock reserves when I first come to QPR, and I think he left literally pre-season and went to Luton.
Right.
Gary Waddock, 1992. Would that be right?
Yeah, I think you are right. Yeah. So this player is.
He knows Andrew, but he won't look down.
I know who it is, and I actually remember. I'm going to throw this in the bin because I actually remember them. Keith Rowlands.
No, same.
Rowlands is his name. That's it. Rowland.
Different first name.
Different first name. It's
David Rowlands. John Rowlands. I don't know. Rowlands.
Martin Rowlands.
That's it.
He played,
yes.
He joined us from Brentford. He broke his leg. I think he fell out with Wally Downs, who's the manager at Brentford. Ian Holloway signed him, and for nothing really. I think he signed him when his leg was still broke when he said he was coming. So a little bit of a risk, obviously, when someone breaks their leg. But he came in and once he started playing, he hit the ground running, and he was tremendous. Tremendous player.
Rowland.
That's my second. So what you got to understand is I've got two sort of stints at QPR.
Yeah.
It was 90 stint, and then I left for a season. I went to Huddersfield and Barnsley for 3 months, and then I had my second stint in the 2000s, and he's one from the 2000s.
Would you say I'm assuming you know the answer to this, would you say you preferred the first stint to the second stint because of success, whereas obviously the second stint, QPR, if my memory serves me, were much more in what's now the Championship and League One for a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah, not necessarily would I say. I mean, I think when you're like a kid and 18, 19, 20, you just take things for granted, don't I? Well, I sort of did. You just think this is the norm, and it feels so far away. And I got a bad injury that kept me out for over a year, 18 months. That's never really got my fitness back. And I left and joined Huddersfield. Steve Bruce was the manager. He was a really good manager. Really enjoyed playing with him. He didn't last long. I'm not going to blame myself. And then Lou Macari took over. So we had like two, Lou Macari, and he was completely different to Steve, to Brucey. And then I went to Barnsley where Nigel Spackman was manager for 3 months. And then guess what, Marv? He got the sack. There's a trend forming here, isn't there? As soon as I turn up, people get sacked. And I come back to QPR, and that was my second stint. And that was a completely different situation where I actually left a Championship team to join a League One team, and I took a wage cut. I just wanted to come home. I wanted to come back to QPR. I wanted to live at home, and it was the best decision I sort of made. You know, in the end, I think I made the money up, because I think if I would have carried on, I would have fizzled out and wouldn't have played as long as I did. So I came back to QPR in 2001. I left for a season, completely different. We're in League One, administration, tough, but in all the way, got the group together, got the fans all on side, and we ended up getting promoted back to the Championship, and then having a few good seasons in the Championship. And I wouldn't say that my first stint was better, as in enjoying it. but very close. I mean, playing in the Premier League, I was fortunate
So
to
what-
play in the Premier League with
so
QPR. Was really good.
Would
players.
you say then, Kev, that in hindsight, though, because of your injury and stuff, maybe like you should have stayed and not gone, or do you think because you went, even though it didn't quite work out, it probably made you want or feel more appreciated when you went back the second time?
Yeah, I did. No, 100%. I would say if I'd have stayed, and I got offered to stay, and I just needed a change. Jerry was my manager again. I wasn't playing. I was like fourth choice centre forward. I'd sort of sat on the bench most of that season, and I was one of these players. I just couldn't sit on the bench, and I just wanted to play all the time, and I just weren't me just sitting on the bench picking up my money. I wanted to play. I needed to play, and I do believe if I hadn't have left, I wouldn't have come back, and if I'd have stayed, I wouldn't have played as many games, because I ended up playing over 200 games when I come back the second time. So I played more the second time
Right.
than the first time. So yeah, I think it was the right decision to go, and obviously it was a great decision to come back. But this, Martin Rowland's top player, really good.
Who's next to Martin Rowlands?
Well, we're going into the centre midfield. Wow, this is a tough one. I've got one, but who's a
One's surely a shoo-in because you've mentioned him hundreds of times already.
Wilkins.
I'm not going to go with him yet. We'll talk about him on the next one.
Right.
So this is like I've got a few who I played. I'm going to have to mention a few names, but not the name.
All right.
I played Keith Andrews at MK Dons, and in that one season we won the League Two title and the JPT in one season. So under Paul Ince, really good season. Mark Burcham, great attitude, great character in the changing room, full of enthusiasm, unbelievable, great laugh every day, great laugh. You know, you need those players in your changing room.
Yeah.
Someone, bright. Another one, he's not centre midfield, but Gareth Ainsworth was the same. He was every day buzzing, loved to crack. Not messing about in training, but I'm talking about in the changing room, having a laugh, always happy, always trying to get the crack going.
He comes across as that type of bloke who's quite happy to put himself out there as well. I mean, you look at the way, even just the way he dresses now, he always tries to be quite suave when he dresses for. He's still Wickham manager, isn't he?
Still Wickham manager. He wears a leather jacket on the bench.
Yeah.
Snake. I think he's got Marv's 1980 snakeskin boots on. Pull you out with a pair of them in Luton one night, Marv, giving it the big licks on the dance floor.
They're a one-off, Kev. Listen, limited edition. I was sponsored by them.
I think you were in Chicago's, weren't you? Giving it loads.
Yeah, that could have been it. I think that probably was it actually, because we got free entry into the Chicago's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been it.
Them shoes, mate.
Yeah, lovely.
Right, so on this player.
I'm very close. To know which one. I mean, like I said, I'm only picking one player who's not a QPR player. I mean, I played in the under-18s England. I could put in Nicky Butt if I could put in Paul Scholes, but that would be just too easy.
So hold on a minute. This player we're thinking about now, is this the one that is not a QPR player?
No, this is not. I said I could. I've got one. I said I could in Paul Scholes, so I played with him under-18s,
yeah,
and Nicky Butt and players like that.
But this player is a QPR player, ex-QPR. Yeah. I've got two guesses. Oh, I think it could be.
Okay, and I'm going to say the other player who very comes close, and I'm only going to pick this player because he complemented the other player so well. But this is not Simon Barker.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking. That's one of them.
He was very good. He was an excellent football player, scored some vital goals. But this player sort of complemented my shoe-in very well.
All right, and so the other one I was thinking of is Mad Dog. Martin Allen. Yes.
Play with him.
No, he didn't play with him. Huh? No. He would have complimented the other one. He would have complimented him really well, I thought.
This would be, he's an ex-manager.
Ex-manager of.
He was ex-manager QPR.
Holloway. Yeah.
I played.
Well done, Andrew.
Yeah, Holloway. Yeah, you mentioned him. You mentioned him earlier. What was he? What was he? See, just to go back, you said manager, and you told that funny story of him on the running. Did he do the same when he was manager as well? Just to be that, because he strikes me as that type of bloke.
He'd still do the running. When he was manager, he brought me back from Barnsley. If we did a long run, it'd be hard to beat him still. And he was like 10 years older. Not a pro, we're pros. I don't think anyone could beat him. But he was, long distance runner, unbelievable. But Ollie was good football player, could run all day, great attitude. Didn't give himself as much credit as he should because his passing left foot and right foot was pretty good. His shooting was awful. I'd have to say that his shooting was awful. But like to go with this other player is like perfect because he could run all day and would do his running as well. Yeah.
No, he always seemed that type of player as well that has the engine on him, and coming from that part of the country as well, he's always got a bit of that mentality of I have to push. I don't know why, just the West Country boys and the accent. He must have been quite funny with the accent in the dressing room as well, being from West London to Cork from West Country.
Yeah, we used to just take the mick. Even when he was manager, I used to take the mick, and just laugh. And Gary Penrice with him, they were like best mates from school, like best man. They grew up, and Ollie came first, and then Gary Penrice came second. And you just hear their banter talking. It's like, what? Just laughing at them, just like your accent's rubbish. Laughing.
But what was
are you right? No, we go. All right, me lover. Stuff like that.
Seeing some of his interviews, Kev, is that like he does? I mean, I don't know him. Obviously, you play for him, but he comes across. I like him. He looks funny. He looks very dry with his sense of humour. Was he like that as a player? Was he like? I mean, did he come across? Was he quiet?
No, quiet. No chance. He was so loud. I mean, like I said, like Alan McDonald. When Ollie used to turn up, first year he turned up, first months he used to turn up, Ollie would come in like a tracksuit, wearing a pair of DMs, yeah, right? We'd all giving it, like, imagine London, West London, giving it, what are you wearing? Macca used to just get clothes and hang it up every day for about a month. And he'd be giving it, who's done that, right? And everyone knew it was Macca. So in the end, when he used to come in training, he used to just hang it up before he got the job. And Ollie used to hang his stuff up. So, hang it up now, it's already up there. So yeah, stuff like that. And him and Penrice are like really funny together, really funny.
Classic.
Excellent. Do you think it helps? I mean, he's a really well-known player at QPR and then going on to manager. Do you think it helps? Do you think it hinders kind of, I wouldn't say kind of legends. I wouldn't put Holloway in that category, but do you know what I mean? The kind of ex-player then going on to be manager. Does it help, do you think, as a player, knowing the dressing room, knowing the club?
I think it helps knowing the club and behind the scenes, but I always believe it's all about the players. If you've got good players, you'll be successful. You ain't got good players, unfortunately, you're not going to be successful. And you can get bad luck and bad injuries, as in, look at Liverpool. The two centre halves are out.
Yeah.
Van Dijk's out and Gomez is out, and they're struggling big time. Van Dijk and Gomez are playing. It might be a completely different season. So you've got to be a bit of luck with your injuries. But when Oliver come back, when he was manager and I signed, he brought me back. He then brought Martin Rowlands. He bought Mark Burcham. He bought Gareth Ainsworth. Bought Danny Shittu. Clark Carlisle was already there. So he had the basis of a really good, solid team. Yeah. But then we sort of ran the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? He didn't come in the dressing room. I used to hate managers coming in the dressing room. What do you want? Do you know, Mark? Did any managers used to come in yours? Like with what's he doing here?
I know. They are spot on, like you just said there.
manager comes in, everyone just does this and says nothing. John Gregory used to come to our dressing room all the time and asking for gelling his hair up and all that, and we'd be we stay there and everyone was silent, and we were like, can't wait for him to go, and then we can get back taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? So Ollie would never come in. The only time Ollie would come in the training room, he'd say, Kevin, can I see you or something? And then, all right. But he'd never sit in there and have a chat.
No, you're right.
Being a Luton fan, did Dickie Dosh do that?
No, he didn't.
I mean, to be fair, I think he would have got caned, wouldn't he? He would have got absolute mullet.
Was he not very popular with the players?
I don't know.
Just strange man. Good coach, really good session. I've got to say that training was good. It was hard. I enjoyed it, but just his man management and I don't know, just let him down, and he just couldn't take it. Also, he couldn't take any confrontation with any players. It didn't help when Nico was there. I've got to say.
You're throwing Nico on either bus. What would Nico? Nico gets a sore. I mean,
he must have read ears from podcasts.
Yeah.
Kevin Nichols, if anyone don't know, I played with Kevin Nichols at Luton. A great bloke. He's your mate, Marvin, and my mate. I love him. He's a great bloke. But you know, if something is upsetting him, he ain't going to keep it in, is he?
And he's mentioned that before. He said like he just couldn't help it, and sometimes it wouldn't even be about him. It'd be about someone else he's sticking up for. He just couldn't help himself. You know,
he didn't do it, and I don't think it sort of helped him. And he probably admitted it as well. But I mean, I could tell a story. I won't say it, but I'm not going to say the story. But some of it, he was just hilarious. I've never seen it. All I say is I've never seen something ever in my life like I've seen that time. I can't say it. It's a family show.
Right. And I wouldn't want you to say it. And I wouldn't. And like you said, he's my mucker and he's your mucker. And
you don't dig him out.
Yeah.
Very good player as well, Nico. And his knees were in really bad shape when I was at Luton. And to be fair, he still went out there and trained. And you see his knees was just absolutely like in disarray. And he went out there and he was always give 100%. And he was good. You could tell he could play. Good passer, good competitor. He was a good captain, really good captain, and he was good at organising stuff for the lads and stuff, and putting our case forward with the management. But back to Dickie Dosh, very strange character.
Fabulous. So moving on to the worst kept secret. Who's sorry?
The worst. I was just about to go to a Dickie Dosh story. Just basically, we was in the. I joined Luton when we had the 30 points deduction, and Mick was manager. Great bloke, good manager. Won the JPT, but got relegated. Tough times, because even if you went away from home and got a draw, in normal situations you come back and give that's a good result. That, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Draw was not a draw. It was like a win all the time. And we had to play attacking football. We probably left ourselves open because we had to win nearly every game just to have a chance of staying up. And we actually had a really good team. And if Luton had started on 0 points, I wouldn't have been surprised we'd have got in the playoffs.
Yeah. You had some gun youngsters. I mean, people like Chris Martin.
Good player, Chris Martin. It was me, Chris Martin, and Tommy Craddock up front. If they didn't play up front, I was playing midfield. Nico was there, Keith Keane. Good player, Keith Keane. We had a good team. Really good team. And, just Dickie Dosh then came in and he just sort of upset a few people, you know. And I don't know if he was told to by upstairs, but he just upset a lot of people, and he didn't need to, because I think that's first season in non-league. Me and Tommy Craddock scored maybe like 47 goals between us, and the following season he's got sold and I'm out of the picture. And you're like, bloody hell, just scored 47 goals between us, and just strange.
Strange.
Yeah. And I just remember about the time. So we had you got the players' bonuses. This is funny. This reminded me. We had the players' bonuses, and Dickie Dosh has brought us into the meeting. Is it with the bonuses? Because we wanted the same bonuses as what. If you don't, but there was a rule. If you don't change it, or if you don't yeah, if you don't improve it, it just goes back to last season's. That was the rule. But because we're in non-league, I think that rule went out the window. So in the Football League, the bonuses are the same. If you don't agree, you only get it improved or it goes back to the following season. Dickie Dosh coming in here. You lot have been ripping the piss out of this club for years. So we're all like giving this one. What? You going on about? I'm doing this. He's giving it. You lot got together and sign this new bonus sheet. Well, I'm giving it to the lads. Can't sign this. Can't sign this. I'm gonna get nothing. Gonna get nothing. He's coming and he's giving it to me on my own. Come on, sign it. Sign it. And I'm on my own and I'm doing this. What? What? Okay, hold on. I just got to go toilet. Just like ran out of ads and some crackers. The thing is, also all well and good, but his bonus wasn't any different.
Wow.
So he wants us to like cut off his own. But that ain't fair.
No.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Dickie Dosh by name, Dosh by nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good coach.
By the way, Richard Money, if anybody's wondering, that's Richard Money. If anybody's wondering who Dickie Dosh is.
One of the best nicknames ever, isn't it? Dickie Dosh.
Okay, so other central midfield, worst kept secret, next to Ian Holloway, Ray Wilkins.
Shall I say it or are you going to say it?
I think I just did. Ray Wilkins.
Sorry. Yeah, Ray Wilkins. What a player. God rest his soul. What a player, but what a man as well. I mean, I can't say anything highly. If you ever met him, he'd give you the time of day. He'd be so nice, polite. If you heard him on the TV, you'd think he'd had a bit of a posh accent. But if you heard him on the pitch, he'd go back to England Hayes twang, where we'd be effing this, effing that, but not in a bad way.
No.
Really good bloke. Used to give everyone advice. Used to run the dressing room. Used to come in every day in a suit, or if he weren't wearing a suit, he'd be immaculate. He'd be like, he must be meeting a bird every day or something. What's going on? He's going out on the town. Like, but yeah, honestly, immaculate. What a player. Left foot.
Why does he wear a suit? Why was he wearing a suit? I mean, you got him in a suit, and then you got Holloway in a tracksuit and DMs. What?
Exactly. There's your London and your Bristol combination. I think it was something to do with when QPR signed him from Glasgow Rangers. The rule was at Glasgow Rangers at the time you had to wear a suit and you had to be clean shaven every day for training. Which, for me, that when I was younger, if I was 21, 22 and I had to do that, I would have been absolutely devastated. Because I used to roll out of bed and go into training like 10 minutes down the road. Don't know about you, Marv, but that's how I used to get out of bed. I'd roll out of bed, have cornflakes and go into training.
No, I'd be up, to be fair, I'd be up quite early. I wouldn't be like all suited and booted, mind you, but I would be up quite early, to be fair. I just wanted to say about Ray Wilkins. He played for a long time, because I remember the Brighton game, the Man United, when he scores that curler. Do you remember that? What a goal that! I remember watching that and thinking, oh my gosh, what a finish that was. So his career spans, especially being a central midfielder as well. You know what it's like, Kev, up and down or whatever, to have the engine to do that. His career did literally go for a long time. And I'm, like you said, God bless his soul. I was fortunate enough to not play with him, but play against him when he was at Wickham. But even then, when he was at Wickham, still was quality, spraying the ball around left to right, giving information to obviously team people in his team, guiding them where to go and what to do. He was fantastic,
Yeah. I think if you look back at his career, I think he was captain of Chelsea in 1976 when he was 18, 19, which there's a lot got moved to Man United, AC Milan. I think he was a bit at Paris Saint-Germain, then to Glasgow Rangers, QPR. Then he went to Burcham, Palace, Millwall, Wickham. Proper player, great, proper engine as well. Fit man, really fit. He was called Butch Wilkins, and because of his legs, he was strong. Didn't have unbelievable pace, but could up and down. But his passing, Oliver used to say a great story. So when the ball was, say, the opposition, the left winger was running down the down the wing. This is what Ray in a nutshell. So the opposition was running down the wing, left winger, and he's putting a cross in, and the centre midfielder, the opposition is running into the box. Ray would be running to the right, QPR's right back position, because then the Jan Station would get the ball and throw it to a Ray, and he'd start off on a counter attack. And then Olo would have to do the running for him. Like I said, that's why I put him in there to complement him. Ray would be going to the right midfield position to get the ball. start a counter attack. That was like a bit of a joke at the club at the time. He'd be like looking around, where's Ray? Oh, he's over there getting the ball while I'm doing all the running up and down. But superb player, superb guy. Used to pull me when I was a youngster. Kevin, what's wrong with you? If I weren't putting it in training, just run about a bit more and see what happens. And I'd be like, yeah, like second half of a match, like in the training game, I'd just run everywhere and things would happen. He'd give it, see? He used to say, that's all the rest of them are doing, is running about. He used to say, you've got more ability than them, but you're not running about more.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone told a fantastic story on a different podcast about him. Was Ray manager of QPR? Was he?
Yeah.
What game was it at QPR? Was he Jermaine Jenas? Was he at QPR?
Jermaine, not at the time, but Ray Wilkins was manager. So I got into the first team in 1994-95 season, and Jerry Francis was manager. And in November, Ray Wilkins just left to go to Palace as player coach. And, Jerry left November and went to Tottenham, and Ray came in as manager. And
someone, I don't know who it was. There's a young kid, I can't think of it is now. It was like made his debut. That's it. And Ray, and yeah, unbelievable. Nigel Quasi it was. He told that story saying like he didn't know he's playing, but like Ray got his parents, was it, or something, told him that he
told him before to come up and we'll pay for you.
Yeah,
that's Ray in a nutshell. I mean, I've made my debut at Man United, and Jerry Francis was the manager. He didn't do that for me. I had a sneaky feeling. Someone said to me, Kevin, I think we're playing tomorrow. And I went, do you reckon? I went, Mum, Dad, I might play. I don't know. I only found out at like 12 o'clock of that day. I went, I don't know, but I think I got a good chance. I'll be on the bench at least, so you better come up.
I mean, we're not dissing Jerry Francis, but just for what I esteem Ray Wilkins has held, like England and like playing for AC Milan and scoring like playing for his country, he still had the humility to think ahead. You know what I mean, Kev? To think like, this is what I'm going to do to make the process easier. Like, really not. I mean, that brought tears to my eyes, really, when I heard that.
The thing with the Jerry farm, I'm only joking, Jerry
no,
Francis,
I know that, yeah.
Jerry Francis probably didn't even know the team. He might have just made a decision at some managers don't even, do you know what I mean? They have an inkling, might change their mind on the day and stuff, where Ray obviously thought, well, he's playing and I'm getting his mum up straight away, which was the right thing and a proper thing to do, and paid for it and didn't tell him. And then, really good story. But that's just the man. Class on the pitch, and just probably definitely in my top 2 or 3 players I've ever played football with. That's how good he was. Training, he was immense, as in there was no messing about or slacking. And he used to call me some of the times if I was meant. He sent me in once actually, which messing about with Trevor Sinclair and Andrew Impey. Sent me in to get in. I was like, what? Get in. I'm like, Devo, he was manager. And I was like, oh no. And then took me out and just ran me. And I was really? Twice. Ray Wilkins and your mate, Ian Dowie.
What do you mean, mate, all of a sudden?
You played with him at Luton?
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know what? I roomed with him a couple of times as well. But like, what did he run you for, Downer? Obviously you gave him some lip or something, did you?
Well, a little bit.
No, but what I mean by that, hold on. What I meant by that is that I used to give him lip as well, because like Downer probably did it, not to say out of spite, but he didn't like it when you got the better of him or you was a bit chirpy, because he come from this like high educational like background, and he used to use these big words with me, right? And I went, Downer. The stuff what comes out of your bum, right, is no different from mine. My bum. So don't start giving it all this like malarkey about these words.
Well, but that, to be fair, Downer was he was assistant manager at QPR. That's why he sent me in. This, you know, in the old days, right? So those days, like, if no one didn't tell you, like, say you were training at, we used to come in at 10 o'clock or 10:30, and the Friday, and I've come in at 10:30 as usual for 11 o'clock start. So if I was out at 11, he'd give it to me. Where have you been? And I'll give it, what? Like, what are you on about?
Yeah.
You're effing late. I went, yeah. And then he went, you were meant to be in for 10 start. I went, you didn't tell me. And he didn't tell me because I only lived 5 minutes away. I went, you didn't tell me. You've always got an excuse. I just went, oh, fuck off. He went, go in. Just F off in. Do you know what? We were playing Bury away, right? And I hadn't been playing. And I thought to myself, you know what? I don't even want to go up there and just sit in the stand. I've gone in, get changed and go home. He went, go home and all that. Jerry Francis comes out, sees me and gives it, where are you going? I went, Dan has just sent me in. I went, Dan has sent me in. He went, get changed, get out there now. I went, all right. I've got change, come out. Dan has looked at me. He didn't speak to me. I used to get really well with Dan all the time. He didn't speak to me for 2 weeks.
No, really? 2 weeks.
So I've come out literally like with a tail between my legs. And I'm like, all the lads go, hey, here he is. You know, the usual. Hey, all right, Kev. And I went, all right, lads. And Dan was like booing because he sent me in. But yeah, the manager, Jerry's brought me back in. So he's feeling a little bit, do you know what I mean? Hierarchy turned up and said, get out there. So, yeah. So, that's just another story of my 2 sendings in my whole career, 20 years.
That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Left midfield then. Left midfield.
Left midfield, yeah.
Left midfield, yeah, good player. Signed him, QPR, Jerry signed him from Blackpool. Left winger, right winger, could maybe do a little bit up front. Powerful, could score a goal, could score a spectacular goal. Good energy, good athlete, good lad, funny guy. Yeah, really good player.
Scored that bicycle kick.
That's the one.
Yeah. Was that the best goal you've ever seen?
Yeah, I'd say so. Best goal I've ever seen.
And is that something he'd try, Kev?
Yeah, but you could tell. Well, not from that distance, but you could see he could do overhead kick. You know what I mean? It's like a 25-yard overhead kick. Hipping volley.
So that's something Trevor Sinclair would do then. Trevor Sinclair, by the way, we're talking about.
Yeah. Training, he could do an overhead kick, but nothing for that. I mean, the timing, the power. I mean, I don't think he'd ever be able to. He obviously never done that again, and I think that was just like not a fluke because he did it. It was the long cross pace on it, whipped, and he's hit. And it's basically what a powerful volley. Yeah. Yeah.
No, fantastic. So you reckon it's the best goal you've ever seen in your lifetime, anyway?
Yeah.
So Trevor Sinclair obviously went on to play for a number of other clubs. Went across across to West Ham as well, and then ended up at Man City for a little while as well, if my memory is right. Did you when he came through? Obviously, young lad from Blackpool, and then you'd have seen so many players not fulfil their potential. I'm sure. Was he one who you had down straight away going, he'll make it and he will play for England in the World Cup?
Well, I wouldn't have said the World Cup, but I'd say you could tell he was going to have a good career. Yeah, you could tell because powerful, do you know what I mean? Good technique and good attitude, and you put all those. Can
you tell? I mean, obviously you've gone away for a system now. You've retired. Can you tell if somebody's going to make it or not?
At what age?
At the age of 20.
Yeah, of course. I could. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You can just sort of tell. I mean, you're playing sort of in a League One and you're excelling, and it's hard to go from League One to the Premiership. But League One Championship, if you're Championship and one of the better players, you sort of can tell. I can anyway. And that's not me giving it the big one or anything.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, if you're talking about as an apprentice now, I think, again, that's why I'm giving Kev a compliment. Like, as an apprentice, it could go either way. You know what I mean? Depends how that person is mentally prepared for what's ahead of them. Because when I joined, again, Luton, I was a late one to come in, and the centre half who was playing like for, I mean, 2-3 years, way before I got there, was what's his name again? He played for England. I'm the school boy, right? Captain. I think he might have even been captain. Come from Duncan Berry, his name was, right? And he from the Midlands. He was that good. They offered him an apprenticeship and I think a 2-year pro at the time before, and it, unfortunately, I mean, I think it went the other way for him. I came in and literally within probably a year, you know what it's like, Kev, because the pro's not guaranteed, is it? I mean, well, even though they've given you the pro, it doesn't mean we have to give you the pro. We can come to some agreement. So I think within a year, I mean, he must have realised or thought that, I mean, I had better potential, and he was gone. He was literally gone before he's end of his apprenticeship, you know. So again, it doesn't mean nothing really when you've been given that that pro. But like Kev says, as an apprentice, I think it could be difficult. But by the time they're 20, I think they know. I mean, especially even probably a manager like Politi probably knew ahead because he used to watch so many games. Politi, he probably knew every single player in the non-league, let alone the league.
The thing is, Marv, I think now they get more time. There's more time for development. You know, there's players, they leave it. In my day, if you weren't playing in the first team at 20, you're going to another club, really.
Yeah, it's true.
Now it's different. It's like 22, 23. There's more money about, I suppose. In the old days, it's like 20. We can't keep this. You know, we ain't got the money to keep them on. Now, 21, 22, can still be sort of playing, going out on loan, coming back, and stuff like that. So it's a different situation, I think, these days.
Yeah. So moving on to your position up front. You said you haven't picked yourself.
I'm not picking myself. No, because I would get in anyway with these two. This one is the one is the only one I'm putting in who didn't play for QPR, and absolute top player, goal scorer, just finisher, left foot, right foot, technical, sharp around the box, made a massive impact in the 90s, mid-90s, really good player, and you know, picked up a lot of injuries. He would have done a lot better, I'd say. Picked up a lot of injuries.
Liverpool player.
I was say Shearer.
No, it's what's his name, Mr. Fowler.
Robbie,
yeah.
Right,
Mr. Fowler. And funny enough, Kev, I remember Robbie Fowler. Everyone remembers Robbie Fowler. He was predominantly left-footed, but I've heard you're the third or fourth person I've heard now talk on the podcast about his finishing being so clean, right or left foot.
Yeah,
everyone said that. Even though he's left-footed, he said
no backlift, technique was just unbelievable. And I played with Robbie under 18s England and under 21s England. He's only one I'm putting in who's not guitar player, but what a player. And I first met him when I got into the England under 18s. I was under 17 at the time, but I got into England under 18s. It was maybe in October or November. We were playing. I can't remember, maybe Switzerland, and it was at Stoke, and we were training at Lilleshall, the old National Sports Centre, and they put me and Robbie into the same room, and we just sort of hit it off and had a really good laugh. We'd be up in the main hall. They say, look, you got to be in bed by 10. We go up there about 9:30 playing this football game, FIFA 90 or something it was. We'd be playing it till about 11:30, looking around, but we better get to bed. We will get in big trouble here. And we'd just be playing it, putting in 50p's and everything. So we then go back and he'd go to bed. He'd he'd have headphones on. He'd be listening to something like the Pet Shop Boys blaring, and I've never shared a room with him in my life, just looking at him. He's fast asleep, blaring. At that time, he was 5'8", but he was made like 10 stone. And I'd be thinking, and I sort of seen him. I'd seen him once before. I played for England schoolboys under 15s, and we had a trial match, and we played Merseyside under 16s, and I think they beat us like something like 4-1 or 4-2. And I remember seeing this little lad up front, and I'm on the opposite end of the pitch, and I'm looking, giving it, who's this? He's unbelievable. Like just movement around the box and finishing, and just thinking, wow, what a player he is. And then 2 years later, I'm sharing a room with him, and I'm thinking, I think I might have said to him, remember that game? And he went, yeah. I went, bloody hell, yeah, you battered us. And we then played Switzerland, and within half an hour, we scored a hat-trick with England 3-1 up. And I'm on the bench thinking, he's top player, this geezer's unbelievable. And then I think I came on, I scored, and then we played, there was a European under-18s championships in 1993 in England, and it was based around Stokes Ground, Nottingham Forest, Walsall, and me and Robbie were on the bench, and we had a proper good team. We had Sol Campbell, Gary Neville at the back, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes midfield, Kevin Sharp.
Who were strikers then, keeping you two out?
So we were playing a diamond. So Julian Joachim was playing, and he was sort of playing regular for Leicester at this stage. So he was sort of number one. Me and Robbie hadn't played for the first team at QPR Liverpool at the time. Jamie Forrester was partnering up front, the lad from Leeds.
Oh, yeah.
And in the hole was Paul Scholes, top player. And it's 0-0, and we've been on the tour before where they hadn't been, to Denmark or Norway in the summer, and we're like thinking we should be playing. We've got to play. We've done well on that tour. We sort of half giving it to manager. Come on, get us on. Like, we're like warming up in front of him all the time just to get his attention. One of them where you're desperate to go on, and you're like stretching in front of the manager. Right, and then he put us on, and within 5 minutes, I scored one. It was against France. Then 5, 6, 7 minutes later, he scores, and we win 2-0. And we are absolutely buzzing. So, and it's live on Sky. So this is like the first time we've been on TV. So the next game we play Holland. We beat them 4-0. Seedorf's playing. Clivert.
Sorry, are you two now starting now the next game?
We're 3-0 up at half time. I've scored. He scored, and Julian Joachim scored. We're 3-0 up at half time. We're now in the next round, semi-finals. We're playing Spain. Robbie scores a hat trick, and we played Turkey in the final at Nottingham Forest. The game's been delayed because there's 25,000 turned up.
It's what, under 18?
Yeah, and I'm 17 at the time. My place is packed, and it ends up we win 1-0. Darren Caskey, remember him? Darren Caskey.
Yeah. Spurs.
He scores a winner from the penalty, and that was the first time an England youth team had won the European Championship for years. And it's only until about 6 years ago that another team had won it. So this lad, Robbie Fowler, he's the only non-QPR player in my team.
Right.
I couldn't keep him out. Not even I could keep him out.
I was going to say, do you think it, like you two coming into the team, it helped rooming together? That sometimes they say like you just knew like each other's like where you were going to go or your combination. Because I've heard some people have a strike partner, and literally it's a case where they've never worked on anything. I mean, I think it's Andy Cole and Dwight York. They said they've never worked on anything. It just happens on the field, literally.
Yeah. It was one of them because we roomed like pretty much. I think we're in Denmark and whatever. We just become mates and roomed together. And then just because we were on the bench together, we did feel a bit hard done. We thought we should have been starting because we'd been on the tour where the other lads hadn't been on the tour, and we'd done well. And I think in 2 games, I scored 2 or 3, he scored 2 or 3, and we're thinking we've got a good chance here starting. And then Jamie Forrester and Julian Joachim weren't even on that tour, like the tour before the tournament.
Yeah.
And they've taken a team. You feel a little, well, I think I should be playing here. So we're on the bench, and then we come on, we both scored, and we were like, thinking, we're back in our room giving it, should have started us from the start, shouldn't they? One of them. They ain't got a clue what they're doing. So yeah.
So next to Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got to throw in a few names. In QPR strikers, enjoyed playing up front with Tony Thorpe. Great footballer. Like, had a really good sort of understanding of linking up play and with Thorpe. If I didn't score, it got, I think for about 2 months, if he scored, the next game I scored, he scored, I scored, and we'd done really well. And unfortunately, he got an injury. And the next player I'm going to say, he's very unlucky not to be in there. It's Paul Furlong, who had a great partnership with him in the 2000s when we got promoted. Strong player, aggressive, good finisher, left foot, aggressive in the air.
Did you play with him at Luton as well, or did he come in after you?
He came in. He came to Luton before me, so Furs was aggressive, fit. He seemed to get at QPR. He hit the best form of his career at 35, 36, which for a centre forward is unbelievable.
He played a lot. I know he hit the career. His best form was for you, and his other best form from memory was for the Yellow Club down the road, our rivals. I think he played quite well for them, didn't he, for quite a while as well?
He did. So Furs was like at 35, 36, fit, like ripped. I've known a geezer to eat as much in my life as him either. You've had a night out with the lads, Furs would have more meals than pints. I ain't joking. We went out once. I swear to God, he had maybe 5 or 6 burgers and chips. I was looking at him, giving it. Where are you putting this? I'm looking at it, putting on weight. And then he take his top off, and he's just like abdomen, like 6-pack. Furs, top player. John Spencer came to QPR in the late 90s. One season was excellent. Technically, very, very good player. But I think
Peter Crouch.
No, I didn't. No, see, I missed Peter Crouch. I went to Huddersfield, and Peter Crouch came to QPR just before I left. So, not Peter Crouch.
It's what's
Sir Les, has to be. Played one full season with Les. Absolute quality centre forward, strong, powerful, unbelievable in the air. 5'10", 5'11", but could jump 7 foot. He's like I can only describe Ronaldo, got a better leap than him, and Michael Jordan. Les's leap was just unbelievable, and his timing and his technique of headers, and really powerful, strong. Hit the ball when he went through on goal, always low and hard across the keeper, low and hard, like blast, good finisher, powerful, very good player, excellent player.
Yeah, you've already mentioned it, but like when I've played against him, he's like you said, he's in the air. He's like, you mean it's unbelievable.
What's he hang? Does he hang? Is that what it is, Mark?
Yeah. He just has this way of
cross you and hung. You just It's hard to
definitely.
So
and he had a fantastic career, of course, going on to Newcastle, Tottenham, to name a couple.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately for the other centre forward I said, Robbie Fowler, is just Alan Shearer was around at that time, and he was sort of number one choice for England, where there wasn't much between Les and Alan Shearer, and Robbie Fowler. There was a time when the centre forwards in the mid '90s was like Shearer, Andy Cole, Les, Teddy Sheringham, Robbie Fowler, Ian Wright was still playing, Stan Collymore. Yeah, we had a lot of good centre forwards.
Yeah.
Did what's his name come? Was that Mark Falco there when you was there?
No, he wasn't. But I've got to say, I was training with. I do remember Mark Falco, and what I would say about Mark Falco was, and I trained with him when I was about 15, 16. We were doing finishing drills, and his finishing with his left foot was excellent. I'll tell you another player who I was very unfortunate not to play with, who was a quality, and you'd have played with him.
Roy Wigley.
Oh, I love Roy. I loved him. He's my favourite player. What a player!
Unreal.
How skillful
he was unreal. Yeah, he was. He was literally the smooth. Some of the stuff he did, literally, it was like, how is he doing? How is he doing that? It was just so calm, and the ball was stuck to him at times, and he was quick. He was quick as well, couldn't he? He could run, couldn't he? He was really quick.
Oh, yeah, when he needed to, he could run.
Yeah.
What a player! I mean, I must have joined the season he left, but
Right.
I watched him for many years at QPR, and he was something else. On his day, he would just absolute turn everyone inside out.
He came to QPR from Luton, didn't he? Was that right?
£1 million. Yeah.
He was a real top player.
And he scored that goal of the season against Leeds for QPR when he just went through them.
Yeah.
I loved him. Yeah, he didn't sort of suit Jerry Francis' style really, and I don't know. It just didn't work out. But Roy Wigley was, what a player.
Fantastic. And so you mentioned a few names. Obviously, in terms of management, who is going to be the manager of this team? So who's the best manager you ever played under?
Well, this is a difficult one. It's only two there I mentioned. I mean, I played. I worked out as maybe 15 or 16 managers. Jerry Francis, start with. I could go from Jerry Francis, Ray Wilkins, Stuart Houston, John Hollins for a little bit, Ray Harford, Ian Dowie for a couple of weeks, back to Jerry Francis, Steve Bruce, Lou Macari, Nigel Spackman, Steve Parkin, Ian Holloway, John Gregory, Ian Holloway, Paul Ince, Di Matteo, Mick Harford, Dickie Dosh. Ended my career. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. I'm going to go for Jerry. Was really good, very organised. You know, done a lot of work with the back and with shape. Always on a Thursday, Friday. You knew what he was doing every day of the week. Monday we'd play a little five-a-side. Tuesday running, no balls. Wednesday off. Thursday shape. Friday set pieces, maybe a five-a-side. And then if we were away from home, he'd take us every morning. If we were in a hotel, he'd find a park and we'd train at 10 o'clock every morning before match away from home. That was never changed. Even if you're like knackered, no, that's what we're doing. Ray Wilkins was excellent for me because I probably played my best football under Ray in the 94-95 season, where I ended up getting 12 goals in the Premiership my first season. I got 10 assists with Les. Les scored 24. We finished 7th or 8th in the Premier League. I know. I was nominated for the PFA Young Player of the Year, which I didn't turn up to because I didn't know at the time.
Did you not really?
You didn't know it was happening?
Huh?
You didn't know it was happening? Or you didn't know you'd been nominated?
And I went, yeah, I'll go. And then I just went, I can't be bothered. And the next thing they said, oh, you should have went. You were nominated. I was like, oh.
So what? I mean, sorry. Do you remember who won it then?
My mate, Robbie Fowler.
Robbie Fowler, yeah.
I think he won it 3 years on the spin or something. He didn't even have to turn up. Just video link over to him. But then when I come back to QPR, I had a really good season with in a really good 3-4 seasons with Ian Holloway, where before I couldn't keep fit, and then I got fit. With him, he was tough training as well. With Ollie gets real fit. I ended up playing nearly like 200 games on. I think I missed one game. It had been 200 games on the spin playing.
Wow.
One game.
To go from having lack of fitness or poor fitness when you got there to then doing that, it's incredible.
Like this few seasons before pulling my hamstring every 10 games to playing nearly 200 in a row with one game missing because I tweaked my foot.
Yeah, just going back to your that season when you was nominated and you got 12, was it goals you said, and 10 assists?
Yeah.
Where did you finish in the charts there? The goal scoring for the Premiership then?
Well, no. So it was on Sky Sports the other day where they were saying about Harry Kane and Son, about Harry Kane's like giving Son about 8 or 10 assists this season, and they had it up on the Sky Sports of all the players' assists, and It was the top 5, and it was like McManaman to Fowler. I think it was Darren Anderson to Sheringham, and then you had Gallen to Furlong, and someone took a picture of it and sent it to me and went, Kev, have a look at that. And I went, yeah. I mean, that's how good the season that me and Les up front had. We were like, I mean, he didn't set any up for me, but that's another story.
But the reason I asked that question is that not being disrespectful to QPR, but was there any rumours or anything? Maybe one of the bigger clubs looking to get you that season?
There was a rumour. There was in that season that QPR. Yeah, so supposedly Man United offered $5 million for me that season in January, February. It was on all the back pages of the paper. Thinking back, do you know what? I didn't have an agent then. I didn't have, you know what I mean? I was a local lad. I was playing for QPR. I was happy there. Ray was the manager.
And normally, like you just said there, there's no smoke without any fire. So there would have been quite a bit of truth. Like in today now, you would have heard about it, wouldn't you? There was some truth in that rumour, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't have an agent, but now an agent would have been straight on the phone to me. So do I regret not going? It never got past the stage of.
Correct. I was going to say.
Unfortunately for QPR, the next season we got relegated, and then when we got relegated, 2 games into the season, I busted my knee. I'm out for like 18 months. So it's all ifs and buts. But
yeah.
I was at the time I was just buzzing to play for QPR, my local team in the Premiership, playing with some fantastic footballers and having a great time.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So you would pick manager-wise then? Who are you going for?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go because of what I said before about getting into like the young player of the year and getting assists and goals in the Premier League. I'll have to say Ray Wilkins. Great bloke, but playing under Ian Holloway for those 4 or 5 years was great as well. Got me really fit, made me captain and stuff like that. We got promoted. I was captain on the day, club captain at that time. I was captain on the day, and it was one of my best memories ever of playing football was that day against Sheffield Wednesday when we got promoted, and 9,000 QPR fans were up there away from home. So one of my best days playing football.
Okay, we've got 2 more things just before you go. I mean, one of them might be a little bit difficult. I mean, maybe not though. Most memorable Luton game and why?
This could be for all the wrong reasons. Do you know what? Unfortunately, for me, I didn't actually play in the JPT final because I was cup tied, which was really. I was a bit obviously gutted. I shouldn't have played I was at MK Dons at the time, and we played Bournemouth in the first round, and I was slightly injured, and I weren't playing, and they put me for the game, and I thought, look, I need to play and sort of try and do well to get into the team. And I had a bit of an Achilles problem and didn't really play that well because I was struggling with the injury. But then I went to Luton and I'm a player, and Luton ended up getting in the JPT final, and I'm sitting in the sort of behind the bench watching it, which was an absolute great occasion. After all the troubles with the Luton that season with the 30 points, play a team that eventually got promoted to the Championship that season and beat them. What was a really, really good game, and seeing the lads, that was like a real memorable game for me. And I know I wasn't playing, but that was like a memorable game, just being part of the team, the squad.
But what about? I mean, the reason that I'm thinking is that you only scored 1 hat-trick in your whole career.
I didn't even think of that. See, that's how unselfish I am, Marv. Who?
I mean, what was the score and who was it against?
I don't know.
And just for those who don't know, believe it or not, Kevin Gallen only scored 1 hat-trick of all those goals in his whole career, and it was for Luton Town. Yes, Go on, Kev, over to you.
It was against Hayes and Yedding, wasn't it? No, it was against Grays.
It's Grays, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Grays, and I scored that trick. And that's the thing, because I've scored so many 2s in my career, loads, and I mean loads. And in a lot of those 2s, I can remember either hitting the post, missing a penalty. I missed a couple of penalties in the 2s, it was like mental. I could never just get a hat trick. And then I got under my favourite manager, Dickie Dosh. And as soon as, to be fair to him, as soon as I scored my third, he took me straight off. And I was like, no problem. The only time when I got took off, I went, yeah, no problem. So he's all right in the end.
Taking the accolade from the fans. That's when you want to get taken off after a hat trick. I'm surprised he didn't take you off after 2.
Yeah. And was it a proper hat trick? A right foot, left foot header, or you can't remember? You couldn't even remember the hat trick. So what chance we got?
All I know is I scored the hat trick after 40 minutes, and he took me off. No, he didn't.
I was going to say. I'll say we weren't that good that season. We were good. We weren't that good.
I know.
Yeah. So you got the hat trick. So and the other last question was, well, obviously you're on lockdown at the moment, but you're still involved in football. What are you doing now, Kev?
I work for Crystal Palace as European scout, doing mainly Germany. Really good club. Nice people. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Germany because of this current crisis and climate with the pandemic. Last time I went was nearly a year ago, last February. So, yeah, hopefully this in the near future we can end this sort of lockdown and open things up, and I can get back out. I've been to a few games in England, but it's not the same without the crowds. We need the crowds there ASAP. Football's nothing without the fans, and they are very sorely missed. So yeah, can't wait for everything to open up again and get working. Just sort of working off the TV and a computer, and it's difficult. It's just not the same as being at the matches. So hopefully open up very soon.
And coaching, I mean, is that out of the question, or is that something still that you might want to try and get back involved in?
I like coaching. I coach my son's team every now and again. When the manager says, "Look, Kevin, will you?" They like hear a different voice, and yeah, no problem. I like coaching. Got my badges. Just difficult to get into some places.
Yeah.
I'm happy with what I'm doing at the moment. If I weren't doing this job, then I would be more active trying to get into coaching. But just at the moment, I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. So, but I would never rule out going back to coaching because I do enjoy it, being with the lads and maybe more with older lads. But I do like with the kids as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Well, our second attempt. Thank you so much, Kevin Gallen. That was absolutely fantastic, and that was Kevin Gallen's My Best 11. Thank you, Kevin.